Привет, друзья! Как дела? My name is Fedor, and today let's start the small topic of podcasts, stories about Russian people. In this series, I really want to talk about some of the most famous people of Russia, and of course, not the ones that live in the current moment. In all honesty, to avoid political topics. Because those who live right now, somebody may not like them, or somebody may think that their political views are wrong and things like that. So we won't dive into more recent things just to avoid this political topic and just a lot of unnecessary tension, to be honest. But talk about people of historical importance, like scientists, authors, things like that. Even sometimes political figures of the past, but talk about them in a neutral way, not in support or denouncing them, but just talk about things that have happened to them that I think are important. Let's say I can think of a ton of different stories that have happened to, let's say, Stalin or Lenin, people like that who sometimes their names are a bit questionable when it comes to their morality, but it doesn't take away from the story itself. And so yeah, let's get right into this today. We'll start with Dostoyevsky. And we'll start with a small biography, small fact, small legend that Dostoyevsky is, of course, a famous Russian author, that he was a gambler. And these are legends about those authors that either are proven or disproven. Here we're going to read a small text where we talk about some facts that are known. And then, of course, I'll break it down and see what we can learn from this text when it comes to the language itself. Here we go. Достоевский сам признавался, что играет на рулетке. В 1862-1863 годах писатель впервые поехал в Европу. Сильно проигрался и завалил знакомых просьбами прислать денег. Ему не хватало на игру, на поездку в другой город, даже на еду. Мария Дмитриевна, его жена, получила от Достоевского тревожное письмо о том, что добраться из Турина в Рим он сможет, только заложив часы. Из Гамбурга в Дрезден он доехал за чужой счет. Его подруге и любовнице Аполлинарии Прокофьевне Сусловой пришлось заложить цепочку и часы. Отправившись в следующую поездку за границу, уже со второй женой, Анной Григорьевной, он так часто и неудачно посещал казино, что заложил ее одежду, украшения, а несколько раз даже обручальное кольцо. Свое он закладывал и выкупал 8 раз. Считается, что страсть к азартным играм внезапно появилась у Достоевского в 1860-е годы, но писатель начал играть намного раньше. Больше всего документальных свидетельств сохранилось о его пристрастии к рулетке, но несколько писем указывают на то, что он и в юности был азартен. В 1843 году, проигравшись в бильярде, Достоевский набрал столько долгов, что на их выплату ушло около 1000 рублей. Alright, now we can break it down line by line. Достоевский сам признавался. Достоевский himself admitted. Признаваться means to admit. Что играет на рулетке. That he plays a roulette. Notice that we have играет на, plays on the roulette. В 1862-1863 годах писатель впервые поехал в Европу. 1862-1863, the writer first went to Europe. Поехал в Европу means he set off, he went. Not that he went and came back, he just simply went there. This поехал outlines a one-way going. Сильно проигрался, lost very badly. Проиграться means lose yourself, kind of. И завалил знакомых просьбами присылать денег. And piled his acquaintances with letters to send him money. Ему не хватало на игру. He didn't have enough for the game. Не хватало на игру. It wasn't enough for the game. Ему to him. So in Russian, we use dative case plus не хватало to say I don't have enough for something. Okay? На поездку в другой город, for the trip to the different city, даже на еду, even for food. Мария Дмитриевна, which is just a name, first name and patronymic, его жена, his wife, получила от Достоевского тревожное письмо. She received an alarming letter from Dostoyevsky о том, что добраться из Турина в Рим он сможет, about the fact that to get from Turin to Rome he can. Добраться до means to get to, добраться. Only if he pawns his watch. Заложить means to pawn, to go to a pawn shop and not sell your watch, but just to give them your watch. They're going to give you money. If you return that money, then you can have your watch back. So he can only go to Turin, from Turin to Rome, only if he pawns his own watch. Из Гамбурга в Дрезден он доехал за чужой счет. From Hamburg to Dresden, he went for another person's money. За чужой счет, using somebody else's money, using another person's money. So, we have this он доехал. Он доехал в Дрезден. He reached Dresden. So we had поехал. He set off, he went. Доехал means he got to, he reached. Его подруге и любовнице, to his friend and his lover, Аполлинарии Прокофьевне Сусловой, this is her full name. Her first name is Apollinaria, I guess. Patronymic Прокофьевна, and last name Суслова. Пришлось заложить цепочку и часы. She had to pawn her necklace and her watch as well. Отправившись в следующую поездку за границу уже со второй женой, having gone to the next trip abroad, за границу means abroad, уже со второй женой, now with the second wife, Анной Григорьевной, again her first name and patronymic, он так часто и неудачно посещал казино, he visited the casino so often and so unluckily, что заложил ее одежду, that he pawned her clothes, украшения, her jewelry, а несколько раз, даже обручальное кольцо, and a few times, even her wedding ring. Свое он закладывал и выкупал 8 раз. His own he pawned and bought back 8 times. So he was a big gambler to where he would go over the amount and to the point of pawning his own stuff. Считается, it's believed to be, or it is believed, что страсть к азартным играм, that the lust for the gambling games внезапно появилась у Достоевского, came up to be or appeared suddenly, I guess at Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky suddenly had it appear at him. That's kind of the logic there, but it means Dostoevsky suddenly developed, of course. In the 1860s, в 1860-е годы. Но писатель начал играть намного раньше. But the writer began to play a long time earlier than that. Намного раньше means far earlier. Больше всего документальных свидетельств, more of documentary proof, сохранилось о его пристрастии к рулетке. Got, I guess, saved or carried over or remained about his choice to roulette. Но несколько писем указывают, but a few letters point to, что он и в юности был азартен, that he was like a gambler. Azarten is a person that likes gambling. Azarten is a very good description of a word, of a person. It's an adjective. Азартный gambler, I guess. В юности, in his youth. В 1843 году, in 1843, проигравшись на бильярде, having lost in billiards, billiards, of course, meaning the game, Достоевский набрал столько долгов, Dostoyevsky got so much debt, что на их выплату ушло около 1000 рублей. That to pay them off, he needed about 1,000 rubles. And 1,000 rubles back in that time was a fortune that one can save up for their entire life, really. So it's a lot of money that he lost gambling. That's the story about Dostoevsky. I hope that this text is interesting to you. Again, this text is going to be below in the description, so you can read this and maybe play the beginning of this podcast to hear this, hear me read it again. And yeah, interesting story. That is all. See you all in the next podcast. And over at Be Fluent, learn to speak Russian better and have fun speaking and learning. See you all there.